Hi there, welcome to Rocky's View. Today let's talk about the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion. It's a critical infrastructure that will change the Canadian oil industry. As we know, the Keystone XL pipeline has been rejected again, which has 830,000 barrel per day of capacity, if built. That will provide many years of expansion capacity for Canadian crude oil production. So, Canada oil industry need other means to transport to our resource to markets. In previous videos, we talked many alternatives. Like the Enbridge Line 3 replacement, this pipeline is ongoing and hopefully will be completed by end of this year, 2021. Like the North Gateway pipeline, which has been officially cancelled a few years ago. Another alternative is the Energy East pipeline, also cancelled due to difficulty of gaining support from eastern provinces. However, the most critical pipeline is the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion project. This is a game changer that all other alternatives can't be. U.S. Energy Information Administration, EIA, forecasts that consumption of petroleum and liquid fuel will rise in 2022 to average 101 million barrel oil per day. Even the renewable energy is growing, it's still a very small amount, totally account for 3% of energy consumption so far. Without historic world-class disaster like COVID-19, the world need minimum 100 million barrel oil per day. By some prediction, if the COVID-19 gradually get controlled in 2021, global economic goes back to normal and continue to grow, the crude oil price will spike. The historic disaster COVID-19 disturbed the world oil consumption, as well as the production. By far the production has lagged behind the consumption, drive oil price raising above US $60. Anyway, the EIA predict they will back to a normal balance and continue their growth by 2022, both consumption and production. There is an existing Trans Mountain pipeline that was built in 1953. Its capacity is 300,000 barrel per day. It's approximately 1,150 kilometers long. It transports crude oil and refined petroleum products from Edmonton, Alberta to refineries and terminals in British Columbia and Washington state. Note this pipeline has a branch at Sumas, BC, from there the major portion of transportation goes to Washington state, where they got the fourth largest refinery capacity in the USA. The original Trans Mountain pipeline was built in 1953. With the recent Alberta oil sands booming, as shown in the SARE data curve, it has been running on the edge, all these recent year, cannot carry more. Currently, more than 70% transportation is going to Washington state through the Sumas branch, hence overseas export through the Burnaby Marine Terminal is almost negligible. Let's see the Trans Mountain Pipeline route. The expansion project will use the same route of the existing pipeline, start from the Kinder Morgan Terminal at Edmonton, Alberta. It goes west along the Yellowhead Highway. Start Mountain Path from Hinton, AB. Then from Jasper it enters BC Province, go along with the Highway 5. Passes Valemount and Clearwater, reaches Kamloops. Then goes down hills through Merritt to Hope. From there it is laid along Highway 1 to the Lower Mainland. The expansion is to lift the capacity from 300,000 barrels per day to 890,000 barrel per day. The additional capacity is 590,000 barrels per day. It involves installing approximately 980 kilometers of new pipeline. New and modified facilities including pump stations and terminals. And a new dock complex at the Westridge Marine Terminal in Burnaby, British Columbia. It is approved by Government of Canada on June 18, 2019. Expected completion date is end of 2022. Construction of Trans Mountain Expansion Project has already created 5,000 jobs, and will create more jobs in which many are for Indigenous people. However, the completion date could be delayed as it has been held several times, for various environmental or safety objections. Now let's see the progressing of this pipeline. Kinder Morgan first proposed the Trans Mountain expansion proposal in 2012. The Trans Mountain project was first approved in 2016. but stopped by the Federal Court of Appeal, 2 years later after First Nations and environmental groups argued the approval. In May 2018 the federal government bought the pipeline to get the expansion done as it was unable to convince private company it could overcome the legal hurdles. Just months later, the Federal Court of Appeal halted construction. Building began anew last summer after the second approval on June 18, 2019. On December 2020, the project endured a 2-month shutdown following several safety lapses. On January 4, 2021 the project restarted work. The longer the project takes to restart fully, the more money it will cost. It can be expected that resistance will continue as construction progressing. Why this pipeline is a game changer? Even comparing with all other alternative pipelines. First, all of its route is within Canada territory, so don't need to worry about the US government's attitude, which is a huge risk that prevent many private company to move forward on many pipeline project. The recent example is the Keystone XL pipeline. The pipeline project lost at least $1.5 billion when the Biden administration changed the Trump administration's approval on the project. Even it's backed up by Canada government. Second, it will be built on the route of existing pipeline, can use majority of existing right-of-way, so is much easier to gain support from local government, not like the North Gateway pipeline. While building the new pipeline beside the existing line, the 70 years old existing line will be reviewed and checked. Provisions can be made to greatly improve its raising safety concerns. Third, it's much shorter, only about 1/4 length of the Energy East. Shorter route not only means lower cost, it create less environment disturbance. In today, this is a key factor for a pipeline to be successfully built. Plus, this project will also create economic benefits for many indigenous communities, such as contracting, financial compensation, employment and training opportunities. Last and the most important, this is Canada's only pipeline system transporting crude oil and refined products to the West Coast. Canada Oil is sold at a discount because Canada is solely reliant on US as its only customer. The hope is that this pipeline will carry more Canadian oil to the Asia-Pacific area. The Trans Mountain Expansion project will provide increased capacity to the US West Coast area, which currently rely on imports crude from Alaska and Mideast, while production from Alaska is declining. In the larger scale, the Trans Mountain Expansion project will provide access to the Asia-Pacific area, the largest crude oil import market in today's world, where China is the #1 crude oil importer, with India, Japan, and South Korea as the 3rd, 4th, 5th respectively. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, see you next time.